My name is Meg Wolf, and to me, an uplifter is a being who is continually curious about ways to find mutual benefit, so win-wins, and then is also able to hold perspective beyond the moment, the day, the week, the year, their lifetime even, and think about how choices and behavior impacts generations to come.
Uplifters, hi, this is Aranzas. I'm so excited for this episode. Today, you're going to meet Tania Kinsella. She's the first woman of color to be the deputy chief of the NYPD, the largest police force in America and possibly the world. But this episode isn't about that. It's about her style as a leader, a style that she carries over into everything she does. There's a basic philosophy in coaching that how you do one thing is how you do everything. You're going to hear that over and over again in Tania Kinsella's story. And you're going to hear what happens when a person shows up for every area of her life with integrity. She tells it like it is, and she asks for what she wants. I can't wait for you to hear this. Tania, thank you so much for being here. You're a badass.
Yeah.
Yeah. I think it's good to know when you're a badass. You've made history as the first female deputy chief of the NYPD. But from what I know about you, you didn't grow up wanting to be an officer. When did you first know that that was something you wanted to pursue?
I was in my last year of John Jay, my 4-year degree. I wanted to be a lawyer. And then I took the test for the NYPD. They called me really quick. And I was like, wow, $36,000. For me, that was like, I was rich because I lived at home. And then it was love at first sight. I'm very grateful for the opportunity because it afforded me to work with 52,000 amazing men and women in New York City. And it has been by far the best decision I've ever made in my life. My children are products of the NYPD. That's the greatest joy in itself. But for 2 decades, I was part of the change in New York City, good or bad, but I was partly responsible for the safety for New York City. And that's a great feeling.
I think part of what you're saying too is it's not all going to be perfect, but it's way better to be a part of the solution than to stand back and just hope.
Yes.
And what do you mean when you say your kids are a product of the NYPD?
So their father is a retired sergeant.
Everything in your life reshaped around this one decision. Did it feel scary to you?
Yeah, it was very scary because I don't come from the police culture, right? My mom is an immigrant Guyanese woman and she's a nurse. Law enforcement was never even thought of in my family. My aunts and uncles are all like nurses or doctors, but no law enforcement. My brother actually used to live on the other side of the law, if you know what I mean. I never had any positive or negative interactions with police officers. I just never got in trouble. I wasn't that type of kid. And law enforcement wasn't something that I grew up wanting to do. I always wanted to be a lawyer.
What was it about being a lawyer that attracted you?
Well, I could argue up my point till I turn blue. I love law. I love criminal justice. And instead of being law enforcement, I wanted to be like a prosecutor. And that was my dream growing up. If you asked me what I wanted to do since I was a child.
And so I'm so fascinated by what attracts us to different paths. So what was it about law?
I just loved the structure. I loved criminal justice, and I wanted to be part of the process of putting bad people away.
What do you believe helped you take a role of leadership in a space that no woman ever had?
So I'm not the first woman. There was a woman many, many years ago. I think she served for like a month or two, but I'm the first woman of color to hold the first deputy commissioner position. I'll be honest with you. I don't fixate on that concept that I'm the first woman of color. Is great, right? It's nice, but I went through the ranks and I worked very hard. I was every rank besides a detective in this agency. So I bring more to the table to just being the first woman of color. I've earned this position. I've been through the trenches. I was a precinct commander twice. I was a chief in the chief patrol's office. I come with experience. So it's not about, for me, it's not about my race and color. but it's about what I bring to the agency and what experience I bring to this position.
Yeah. I think that it's such an important message. And I think it's something we hear quite often when I get the opportunity to talk to trailblazers. And there is such a ripple effect from first, right? Because it creates a role model and a sense of opportunity for other girls who might not have seen themselves in those positions to say, yeah, this is what it looks like to be a leader. One of the things I'm just blown away by is your philosophy on leadership. So can we talk a little bit about what you believe it means to be a strong leader?
For me, leadership is everything because I've been a leader since I have 5 years in this agency. And leadership is all I know. A leader is not afraid to lead from the front. A leader is not afraid to tell your people when they're wrong. A leader is not afraid to say that I'm not the smartest person in the room, but I'm willing to learn and to adapt and to do what's better for the agency. That's a leader. A leader is taking ownership of your people. A leader is loving the job and the people that you work for and the communities that we serve. Leadership is more than just the word leadership. And leadership is really learning when to have humility. And I'm a very humble person. I like to surround myself with people that are smarter than me. Because if you're the smartest person in the room, then you're not the greatest leader.
How do you keep the ego out of it and stay open? Because I think that's really hard for a lot of people to do.
Well, number one, I don't have an ego. What's yours today could be somebody else's tomorrow. I'm humble that the mayor of the New York City took a bet on me, and I'm grateful for that. So I don't have an ego. I'm just very blessed to be in this position where I can do what I love.
What I'm hearing is that it's about a mindset of gratitude.
Yes, full of gratitude.
So often we get into that ego response when we're afraid of something being taken away from us or losing our influence or control. And I think what you're saying is, I don't have time for that, but staying in a place of gratitude lets me stay present and open to what's happening in front of me.
Yeah, most definitely. And that's what I'm about. I love policing. I love making a difference. I love the communities that we serve in New York City. Every community has its own unique value to the city, and I love it. I wouldn't trade any other day, any other field. I am right where I belong.
You use the word love a lot, and you talk about loving your people and loving your job and loving policing.
When you love what you do, and you love the people that work with you, and you have love for the communities that we serve, everything else falls into place. If you love and respect your cops will run through a burning building for you. They will love to come to work. They will love to serve the communities. They will love doing what they're doing if they know that they're valued. And I'm big on that.
Mm-hmm. How do you show them that you value, love, and respect them?
So this morning, I had a speech at the training facility at the police academy. And I made sure in all my speeches by saying, I love you, be safe, and make wise decisions. And just by my everyday interactions with cops, like if I'm on the street, if I'm out and about and I see a cop, I'm very approachable. I'm never too big or too high on a pedestal to acknowledge our officers.
When you were in the police academy and they said, what do you want to do? And you said, I want to be the commissioner. And at that time, I think no woman had ever been that role.
No.
I think as women, especially, it's scary to say what we want. We grow up in a culture where at least so many of us are told to just like step back, be quiet, to dream small. But you had the courage to dream big.
And not only dream big, I led by example. If I knew that I wanted to go up, I wanted to go through the ranks to commissioner, I knew that I had to make sure that I had that knowledge and that experience to back it up eventually.
So what did that look like, the work to get there?
It was a lot of long days, still a lot of long days, but it wasn't just work though. Like, honestly, I know it sounds cliche, but I love policing. I love catching the bad guys. I love bringing some solace to a victim. I love preventing crimes. I love interacting with the public. I love interacting with the cops. So it's a lot of work, but it's good work.
How do you take care of yourself while working 7 days a week and having millions of people in New York City who are influenced by your work and decisions and tens of thousands of people on the force?
So I'm still a work in progress because as women, we tend to the family aspect, the career aspect, we put those in the forefront and put our own selves and mental health in the back burner. Some weeks are better than others. Some days the day gets me, and some days I get the day. I exercise a lot. I'm a runner. That's still a work in progress.
What's the most challenging part for you about fitting in self-care?
It's just time management, right? Time management, because if I'm not working, I have to be a mom. I have a 13-year-old and a 9-year-old. So you got to stay on top of that. Make sure that I'm present for them, but not sacrificing my career either. Sometimes a lot of it is time management, and I get my runs in mostly in the mornings after I drop them off to school. And I teach part-time at John Jay.
And then you run a community running group.
Mm-hmm. DOE and the NYPD join forces to do throughout the 5 boroughs. So we pick a middle school, and it was more about mentorship and keeping kids active and engaged in certain schools. It's funded by the Police Foundation. Middle school kids get running sneakers, uniforms, and they have the cops who are NYPD club runners. They are the mentors, coaches. They are going to help the kids and make sure that they're gaining, a love for running, or because a lot of times running is not really part of a middle school curriculum or sports.
Mm-hmm.
So I want to bring my love for running to the city.
Oh, how beautiful.
My hopes is that one day that every school can adopt it and we'll have a future Olympians.
I love that vision. And to me, this is the essence of your leadership mindset. It seems like your mindset is one of, I'm going to get really clear about what I want and then build an action plan to make that a reality.
I agree.
That's a big deal. I don't know if you've never lived in any other brains. I get to talk to women all day, so I get to see how rare this is, but it's a big deal to be that clear.
I'm not going to be in this position forever. So making sure that my legacy, I'm making an impact with this position and not just capitalizing, saying I'm the first female of color. It's really making that difference.
So what would your dream for that be?
My dream would to never leave this, but that would be my dream. But my dream is to carry on what we started.
Do you still want to be commissioner?
I think that now that I'm more matured and life has a way of evolving, I feel like what's meant for you will always find you. So if I'm meant to be the police commissioner, one day will find me. I'm right now at this moment in my junction in time, I'm meant to be here. I feel like life is full of lessons. Mistakes are lessons.
Have you always believed that?
No. On Monday, I'll be 44.
Happy birthday.
Thank you. And it took a lot of self-reflection. It took a lot of mistakes, a lot of self-doubt, a lot of blaming myself for my past mistakes and punishing myself. It took a lot of that to get to where I'm at now, as far as mentally, that I believe in that mistakes are lessons or redirections. And you make a mistake, it's life. You're not a bad person. And well, if you take someone's life, maybe. But that's how you learn. That's how you know what you're not supposed to do.
The core of leadership is the bravery to make choices.
Yep. And sometimes our choices are not the right choices, and that's fine.
You are a remarkably brave woman. And I think we all have fears, and we all have stuff that scares us. So what still scares you, and how do you manage those moments of fear or doubt?
The future scares me, right? And the unknown scares me. And the ever-changing times scare me. But I feel like I'm starting, because I'm not perfect at it. So I'm not going to sit here and preach it. But I feel like if it's outside of your control, you can't really, you try to calm those fears. You try to live one day at a time. And what you can do, that's what you can do. And what you can't do, you can't. I stress about the things that's not even on the table yet. So I'm still a work in progress, like we all are.
I talk about women as wearing 20 hats while carrying 50 plates and trying not to let anything drop, and then feeling really bad about ourselves the second one thing drops, or we wear the wrong hat at the wrong moment. And I think what you're saying is part of growing up is accepting that, yeah, you're going to drop plates and that's going to help you learn. And it's not your job to carry all the plates and wear all the hats.
Yeah. Even as much as we like, but we can't.
Yeah. Even though we can, right? Or we can do it temporarily. It's impossible long-term to do it all.
Exactly.
So as we wrap up, what do you most hope people will learn from your story?
I hope that people learn from my story that it's okay to be a woman. It's okay to be a mother. It's okay to have a glowing career, and it's okay to have it all. And it's also okay to be a mess sometimes. It's also okay to not have all the answers. And it's also okay to be human and be humble. And it's also okay to uplift other women. That is a-okay.
So grateful for the chance to meet you and to know that people with your mindset and your strength of character and integrity are making decisions for our city.
Yep. Thank you so much for having me.
Thank you.
Take care.
Thank you for listening to the Uplifters podcast. If you're getting a boost from these episodes, please share them with the uplifters in your life and then join us in conversation over at the uplifterspodcast.com. Head over to Spotify, Apple Podcast, or wherever you get your podcast and follow, and rate our show. It'll really help us connect with more uplifters, and it'll ensure you never miss one of these beautiful stories. Mwah! Big love.
Painted water sunshine with rosemary and thyme. Dwell in the perplexing, though you find it vexing. Toss a star and hover, be your own best lover. Relish in a new prime, plant a tree in springtime. Dance with idle hindsight, bring the sun to twilight. Lift you up, whoa. Lift you up, whoa. Lift you up, whoa. Lift you up. Lift you up, whoa. Lift you up, whoa. Lift you up, whoa. Lift you up.
Beautiful.
I cried. It's that little thing you did with your voice.
Right, in the pre-chorus, right?
I was like,
Mommy,
I had to cry quietly.
Mommy, stop crying. You're disturbing the peace.